Aloha! Welcome to the Friday Aloha Marketing Jam Session. Today, you get to be a fly on the wall as we break down the behind the scenes of our seven-figure agency. I'm joined by my co-host, Nick Luisi. What's up, Nick?
How are you, Tom?
I'm doing fantastic. And if you're on this live show and you happen to be looking to build a successful digital agency, and you've been hoping to find someone to model, well, you're in luck. We are going to show you the behind the scenes of how our agency runs. I'm actually going to talk about the process we go through whenever we bring a new member, a new team member into the agency, how we quickly get them up to speed, how we're able to get them to see the big picture of what we do at the agency and understand all the smaller parts and how they work together. You guys are going to love this. If you've ever struggled to see how everything we talk about at Offline Sharks fits together, like you ever find yourself going like, oh, I know I need this and I know I need that, but just how does it all work as one? Well, you're going to leave today's live show knowing exactly how it all works and what you can do to copy the entire system. So grab a cool drink and join me and Nick Luisi back here in one momento as we dive deep into the real workings of our seven-figure agency. We'll see you guys back here in one momento.
It's time, the moment you've been waiting for. Get ready for the fastest 60 minutes of marketing strategies and tactics to grow and scale your business from anywhere in the world. After 167 agonizing hours, we've returned for a brand new Aloha Marketing Jam session. And now, here are your hosts.
Woo, that crowd is fired up.
I think they're the most fired up I've ever heard them. I mean, this is by far the rowdiest I've ever heard them. And part of it's because Richie Cronin is in the house somewhere with a frothy beverage, I'm sure. I thought he was going to Ireland.
Yeah, he's actually in Scotland.
Scotland, yeah, that's right. He's playing golf. He's playing the back nine.
The old course.
That's it.
He was telling me, he's like, last week he was saying he's going to go. It's interesting because you can't just, for those of you who maybe are not big golfers, in Scotland, there's that's the St. Andrews, right? St. Andrews is called the old course. That's where they I don't know what years they do it, but they play the British Open there. It's one of the oldest golf courses in the world, right?
I think it's one of the first, correct?
Yeah, one of the first, right? So Richie was telling me that you can't just go and play there. Like you can't just book a tee time. Like you actually have to put your name on a list and say like, okay, I want to come on this day. And then they do like a lottery. And if you get picked, then you get to play the course.
Wow. Well, he's lucky. He's at JFK currently drinking bubblies. My wife is coming back in the country. She's at Washington, D.C. Dulles. So they're like two ships passing in the night. She just came back from Barcelona. And we're sitting here. You're in Vegas and I'm in Chicago. And, life is good.
Yeah. Everything is good. It's starting to warm up here in Vegas.
And what is warm in Vegas? Because I'll check my.
It's like it's starting to get on the warmer side. It's not hot yet, I don't think. I mean, it's in the 90s, which to me here, the 90s does not like if it were to get in the 90s in Maui, you would be miserable. Like you'd walk outside and you'd instantly be just like drenched in sweat, and it just here though the 90s are not that bad. To me, it doesn't really get bad until you get in like 110, 115 territory. And even then you have to like be outside for an extended period of time for it to like really start to be like, but anyway, let's see who. I actually just got the windows tinted on the car yesterday so that it'd be a little more manageable.
Well, that's a must, right? Especially if you're parked up. Yeah, that's a must.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, what's so funny is, so I should have put this in the, I should have had Shushan put this in the shout out wins, because I have been working behind the scenes on a new course that we're going to be rolling out on June the 11th. And it's really funny because like we have this strategy that is really great. It's awesome to get traction. And because I was working on the course, I actually got a new client from the neighbor in right next to my house. So I was walking outside and the neighbor was having their car cleaned, and it just so happened I was interested in car detailers. And so I asked the guy, I was like, hey, I'm just curious, like, what's going on with what's going on with the marketing of your business? And I have something, would you mind if I ran it by you? It's aimed at car detailers. I think you would really like it. And he was like, oh yeah, man, shoot it over. So then he shoot it over. And like 20 minutes later, he was like, hey, where can I sign up for this?
Always be closing ABC,
right.
Always be prospecting ABP. Love that.
Opportunities everywhere. But we'll talk more about that in the coming weeks because some exciting stuff there. What's up, Jacqueline? Good to see you. I see Richie Cronin's there. I see Maddie. What's up, Maddie? Megalodon Dorn Brenton in the house. Good to see you, Dorn. Who else is in here? I see Frank the Tank. What's up, Shishan? Welcome, everybody. Well, we have a great live show lined up today. We're going to talk kind of behind the scenes of the agency and sort of how everything fits together. I don't know if you guys saw our email yesterday. We'll talk a little more about that. I want to kind of break down exactly what that is and why it's important to you. Because, we get this question a lot. A lot of people, they come in and there's so many things to learn, right? When you're an entrepreneur and you're building a business, right? There's not just the entrepreneurial stuff, but also, when we're talking about a digital agency, which is what we do here at Offline Sharks, there's, the prospecting, the client getting, the services you offer. How do we do all that without having to work a gazillion hours a week? How do we bring people to in once we start scaling, all that kind of stuff? And so a lot of times, you guys see the pieces, but we don't really talk about like, well, how does it all fit together? Like, what's the big picture of this? Like, we do this in agency evolution, right? In agency evolution, we really break down the agency, right? Like, here's the agency. We show people in that program, like, this is where you're going, right? So they see the end result. Like, okay, this is where we're going. And now everything that we're doing along the way is headed towards this end result. And that really gives you some clarity and helps you kind of know what to do. In Offline Sharks, a lot of times we're talking about individual pieces, right? Like, we have a lot of courses on individual pieces, different things. A lot of people are looking to just get traction, make those first sales, all that kind of stuff. So we spend a lot of time talking about that. Normally we spend more time talking about that. Today, I'm going to kind of show you how you can get the big picture too without being in an agency evolution. So we'll get to all that. And let's see. I think let's start off by doing some shark shout outs. And then we'll talk about the agency. We'll take your questions. We'll do all that good stuff. So let me get let me do something here. I want to take this out before we go here. Okay. Let me get my technical stuff going. This will just make it easier for me to be able to go back and forth and find things. So, okay. All right. So I'm going to share my screen and we are going to start our first shout out with somebody who is tearing it up this week. And that is Mr. Robert Nahas. So, Robert celebrated his birthday on Monday. Yay. Congratulations.
That's awesome. Happy birthday.
He closed his fourth. I want you to hear this. He closed his fourth $10,000 website.
Wow. That's a number. 4
of those things.
Yeah. That's
right?
awesome.
Like, man, you guys can see why we love we love websites for all kinds of stuff. I think websites is like, it just gets so overlooked because, it's not new, it's not sexy, but man, those things just like they're easy to close the deals. They can be high ticket, they can be low ticket. Like they're so versatile, right? Because there's so many things you can do on the back end and all that stuff. But anyway, Robert closed his fourth $10,000 website. Awesome job. He received a signed contract and payment for the third one that he closed. And he received a 50% payment for a bestseller campaign, worked on content for website number 1, shared that he went on a I saw this post. This was great. He went on a 5-mile hike with his wife, who's also his business partner, yesterday. And he posted in the group and the Agency Evolution group. And he was like, I'm already beginning to experience the freedom that comes with systematizing your business, right? All of that for $10,000 websites, still able to take time and just enjoy an afternoon with his wife because he's putting the systems and the processes in place that we talk about every day here at Offline Shark. So way to go, Robert. Excellent work.
So important. I think so many times people just don't do the work to put the systems and processes in. So what phenomenal results he's getting.
Yeah, it is. And I think too, part of it, Nick, is like people just don't know, we get the question all the time, what do I do first?
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that in a second, but I got an answer that's probably not what you want to hear, but we're gonna give it to you straight. Next up, we got Thomas Melton has a podcast interview scheduled for next week to expand his brand exposure. Excellent.
That's wonderful. I love podcasts. I get business for podcasts. I'm sure you do too. You're on a ton of them. I see you burning up the podcast realm too.
Some. I just did one the other day with the guy. Are you familiar with RepStack?
Yeah.
They have a podcast. So I was just on Azar's podcast the other day. It was pretty fun.
That's great for Thomas. I think more of our community should be doing that, right? Because there's a lot of great podcasts. They're always looking for local guests, local angles, and Thomas did a great job, and more people could be doing that. And it's a lot of fun. I always learn something when I'm on a podcast. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I always get great info, and if nothing else, you always make a great connection. You know what's interesting to me too about the whole podcast thing is I have a friend here who is a partner in a pretty big law firm here in Las Vegas. And he just posted on his personal feed the other day how he was interviewed on a attorney's marketing podcast. So there's a lady, I guess they do marketing for attorneys, but they have a podcast. And so they go around and interview attorneys. Now, I mean, what a great way to get your foot in the door with a potential client and build them up while also setting yourself up to be able to help them off, right?
There's a couple people that teach that. Jeremy Weiss, he and his partner have Rise 25, and they teach how to do business development podcasts, which is a great strategy for a lot of our members to do too. Really, really good strategy. For business.
Yeah, when we talk about this, we don't have a lot of detail on it, but like we've mentioned this before in like our trainings for the influencer websites and the either whether you have a niche directory site or a community site, how if you have a community site, you can do featured business interviews and post them on there. If you have a niche site, you can go and interview people that are crushing that niche, right? Like for instance, if you had a directory site of attorneys, like then you could go and interview the attorneys just like these people are doing. And Jocelyn and Randy, who we're going to be bringing a training from them to you guys here pretty soon, but that's one of the things they're doing.
Yeah.
Like they're providing that service to clients and showing them how to do it. It's really awesome. So you guys are going to love that. So excellent work, Thomas. Excellent work.
I think it's great. And I see from Richie's post, who we're going to talk about, it looks like he's, a couple sips into his bubblies in the lounge from his spelling.
Yeah. Yeah. Drink up, Richie, drink up. Next up, Richie Cronin. So he got a new client, a local gym. It's a monthly SaaS. So that's software as a service, $1,500, $3,000 website rebuild, AdWords, SEO, ongoing to be continued. This is something we're going to be talking a little bit more about in the months to come. Is we've been doing SaaS in the agency, which is providing a software as a service to clients. And it's very lucrative and it's also very hands-off. Like you're basically the client. There's two ways you can go. You give them the software and they do the stuff themselves, or you can do that for them. So anyway, we'll be talking about that.
That's
anyway, Yeah, pretty exciting. He also got a new client, an online golf retailer. So website fixes 1,500, Google Business Profile setup 800, web listings 500, software as a service $597 a month. Also, his affiliate partner in California secured a 12-month brand marketing contract, $1,000 per month. That's awesome. Richie, I'd love to hear more about your affiliate partner. That sounds interesting, how you're doing that and what you're doing there. And Richie, if you could get this golf retailer to maybe fix our golf swings, we would all really appreciate that as well.
That's priceless.
Yeah, that's
priceless.
But we work for free if you could get me to shoot under 70.
There you go. There you go.
Oops.
We'll work for free for par, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's my problem. You know, I go golfing and it's like I par one hole and I start telling my friends, like, I wonder if there are any like tournaments around here that I could join. They're like, maybe you should finish today's round.
There you go. There you go.
All right. Next up, we got John Hardiman. He got his first free listing on his influencer website through the Reach Machine.
That's awesome.
That's a big win. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's what that thing is designed to do, right? Generate activity, get you that traction. So awesome. Awesome win. Next up, Kristen Bedard. She got a $2,500 bar restaurant client and a $500 auto salvage client. 2 solid wins. Kristen killing it there. Awesome.
Love that. Love that.
That brings our weekly roundup total to $32,897 for the week of May 25th through May 31st. Grand total, $561,765 since the start of 2023 or 2024. And we are we're starting the 6th month. So
yeah, June. Yeah.
Just under halfway through. Over $500,000 in business you have closed out there just from implementing what we talk about and teach here. So way to go. Give yourselves a big pat on the back. If you're getting wins, if you're out there doing stuff, big, small, they don't even have to be monetary. Make sure you share those. And please, if you're working for clients on an ongoing basis, also make sure you share those wins every time you get an invoice. So don't just share the first one, like, oh, signed a monthly SEO client. Share them every week. We'd love to see those. So awesome stuff.
Great
Dorn
stuff.
said, the deal he talked about last week, he closed. So he closed his 30,000 website deal that he talked about last week. That's amazing, Dorn. Yeah, make sure to post that so we can, I don't know if we counted that or not. Let's make sure we get it in there. So awesome work, everybody. Awesome work. Also, last week, I was remiss in my hosting duties because I forgot to do our member of the week. So every week, we like to reward someone for being a good ambassador of Offline Sharks in the group with the member of the week. And the member of the week from last week, who will be the member of the week this week. Is that right? That was how, yeah. Anyway, is Mr. Taylor Stillman. Taylor, congratulations.
That's awesome.
It's for learning a strategy to get his foot in the door. He amplified it with innovation and is now building an unstoppable empire. What Shashan's talking about here is Taylor took our influencer website, the directory website strategy that we teach and talk about. He's turned it into hosting live events, and he is crushing it. Last week, he said he has over $10,000 in sponsorships, people paying him to sponsor his next live event, all that. We've got some things in the work for Taylor to talk about how he's doing this and all that stuff. So excellent work, Taylor. Taylor is going to get one of these. This is the Offline Sharks member.
Love it. Love it. It's filled with goodies.
Yep.
Filled
The
with
only people
goodies.
that's inside are the members. So the members of the week, I should say. So congratulations, Taylor. Awesome work.
He's doing a lot of really good stuff. It seems like every time I blink, he's got another great thing going on. So he's a great implementer of our strategies.
Yeah, well, it's really interesting to hear how he, how he even just started this whole, live event thing. And I mean, it was really just, he basically went to a little bar that was by his house that was super dead on a Wednesday and was like, hey, if I bring some people in, will you let me have this space for free? And they were like, yes. And that's how I got started. So really amazing. I'm going to take a drink here.
Yeah, take your time. And he is in the cannabis space, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing. He works in the cannabis niche. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
Which continues to grow leaps and bounds, and
No pun intended, right?
Yeah, right. Leaps and bounds. Right. Bump. So
yeah.
all good.
Yeah, awesome. So let's talk about our agency. So we sent out an email yesterday about a thing that we call Join Our Agency. Who saw that? Who saw that email? So I wanted to kind of break down really about what this is about, because we get this question all the time. We get a lot of questions around this about, like, how does everything fit together? Like, how does it all fit together in the agency? And so one of the things that we do at our agency is whenever we bring a new team member on board, regardless of what their position is, whether they're an account coordinator, a project manager, whether they're a fulfillment person, like they're creating SEO content, or they're doing SEO, or they're doing pay-per-click, or they're a sales rep, whatever it is, it's really important that we're able to orient that person to how the agency works, what goes on in there, and how all the pieces fit together, so that they can see, once it's really just like the big picture view of the agency. And then once they go through this orientation, then they go into more job specific training, right? So how many people here have a regular job? Let me know in the chat.
Do you want to define that?
What's that?
Do you want to define that?
Well, like, if you ever had a corporate job or any job, like I used to be in the restaurant business, like a server. When I got hired as a server, like, they didn't just turn me loose on the floor, right? And I'm just curious of what other people's experience is. Like, how did they train you to do your job? Like, you come in and you kind of have an idea about your job, but you don't really know how this particular company works, how it all works together. So they put you through like an orientation, right? And then they will put you through something where somebody shadows you.
Yeah, shadow, yeah.
Like, you shadow somebody, then somebody shadows you. Like, it's not just a straightforward process. So we do that same thing in the agency. And so whenever somebody comes on board, we try to get them up to speed, orientated, all that stuff as quick as possible. And as Nick and I were looking at this training that we do for our internal team, we were like, man, there's a lot of people in the Offline Sharks community that I bet would get a ton of value from this. Like,
sure,
if they went through this, they would understand how the agency works, how it all fits together, all that stuff as well. So we decided to do something that we weren't originally going to do, which is release it to the community. So you can actually get this training. So this is our internal training. I'm going to show you guys some of the stuff inside, and then we'll take some questions, because I want everybody to get a good understanding of how all the pieces fit together in the digital agency. Because, there's a lot of moving pieces, right? And the question we get all the time is like, well, what should I do first? Like, what's the thing I need to do? Like, the problem with that question is all of the things are important, and you kind of have to be working on all of them at the same time, right? There's really, like, it's not like I do this and then, like, yes, there is kind of that, but you have to be doing that with multiple things, right? So let me show you this. So I'm going to share my screen here. Yeah, Frank said, well, when I became a lifeguard, first they taught me how to swim. Yep. Yeah, exactly, right? You don't just get thrown into the pool. And, here's the other thing about, like, what we're doing in the agency, and especially with this orientation training, is that I don't see anybody else out there talking about this stuff. Like, I don't see any of the other agency gurus or any of those people talking about this. And I suspect the reason they don't do that is because they're not doing this. They don't actually have an agency that's doing this, right?
Yeah.
Like,
right. Or they had one in their past, right? In their nightmares and their dreams.
They don't have one today.
Yeah.
And so, the advantage of a lot of the stuff we have here at Offline Sharks is that, we have an agency that's working, it's running today. We're dealing with clients, and And so we know what it takes, right? So here's the deal. I'm going to kind of break down what's in this Join Our Agency course, and then we'll take some questions. So is there anybody on this call right now that is just kind of like struggled with the big picture of how everything works together? Like you're just like, there's just so much to know. It's like, how do you know all of the working parts? Let me know. Just put like me or yes. I mean, nothing to be embarrassed about, because like maybe you just don't, you don't really know enough about SEO or PPC or like, it's just like, well, how does all the marketing stuff work in with the getting clients and the services and all that stuff, right? Gregory says yes. Edgar says yes. Okay. Yeah. Well, this is right up your alley. So what this course is, again, everything that's in here was created for our internal team. So that's why we called this Join Our Agency. Because in a sense, if you were to get a job at our agency, you would go through this course, right? And it would bring you up to speed on everything we have going there. So imagine like you're trying to build an agency yourself, right? But now you can just you can get behind the scenes, like you can shadow us for a day and you can see how every part of the agency works and what you need to put together to do exactly what we're doing. So here's kind of a breakdown of what you get. So in the first section, we talk about the agency, right? We do a welcome to the agency, a little thing. We do a complete breakdown of our org chart. So have you ever wondered like, well, like what positions do you need and how do you fill those and all that stuff? Well, I do a complete unpacking of the accountability, the org chart at the agency. Then we talk about the services we offer. So we break down, well, what are the 5 services we offer? What do we actually do? What's the environment at the agency like, right? We're a startup, so we talk about that. Like, what can they expect from working in the agency? How does all of that work together? This is really valuable to you because it'll give you an idea of what the working environment in your agency is going to feel like, right? Then we talk about the toolbox. Like, what are all the various tools that we use in the agency? What are the things they need to be familiar with? And then we talk about our meeting structure, because various team members have different meetings. We meet with team members, all that stuff. So we talk about the meeting structure, how we do that. Next up, we go into the fundamentals of digital marketing, because remember,
that's really cool.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, Nick, come into the agency and they may have a skill, like maybe they write SEO content or maybe they do SEO. A lot of them are not like, they have a skill, but they may not necessarily understand the general marketing principles that we want to follow and do. And so we have to educate people on that, right? So we talk about the vocabulary, like what are the words they're going to be hearing when they work in the agency and what do those words mean? So communication is key, right? Yep. Communication is key. So everybody has to understand the words that are being used and what they mean, so everybody's on the same page. So we talk about the vocabulary. We talk about the core marketing concepts that we use to get results for our clients. Then we go into SEO fundamentals and PPC fundamentals. When someone comes into our agency, even if they have no idea what SEO is, they have no idea what PPC is, they will be able to talk intelligently and know what they're talking about with anyone on these topics. And that's what this section was designed to do, right? So you understand, like, okay, you may not be the SEO person, but you know what SEO is. You know why it's important. You know what the fundamental things are that you need to be talking, because, everybody at the agency interacts with clients at different points in times. And so it's important that we understand what's going on in the other roles, right?
Not just clients, but friends and family. And the other reason too, I like that so much is, a lot of times when you're new and you're in a meeting, you hear terms thrown out because, we've been intimate and, been doing the business of the agency for so long, but a new person may not know, and they don't want to ask the question because they don't want to look silly. And so what they do is they just don't do anything, right? But this allows everybody to have a basis of understanding of the core deliverables. This is really, really good.
Yeah. And I saw Marcus, you said, is there anything on fulfillment? Like a lot of this is geared towards fulfillment. I'm not what specific. Let me know specifically what you're looking for, and I can tell you. But like, let's just take a look at this, the org chart. So you're asking about fulfillment. So when we break down the org chart and the accountability chart, right here, I'm going to go and show you this piece. So it wants you to verify. Hold on.
I mean, I'm impressed that you know your you know your password.
I don't. It's auto filled in there.
There you go.
I saw this. I saw this meme that was great the other day. It said, a hacker contacts you and they're like, I hacked your accounts. I have all your passwords. And my response is like, great. Tell me what they are.
Funny you should. Funny you should reach out. I just don't know what they are. Can you send those over to me? Yeah.
Yeah. So this org chart, right? Like this is the foundation of fulfillment, right? Because when we know, like, okay, we have sales and marketing, then we've got the project manager, we have account management, admin, finance, HR, how all these things like are broken out in the project manager section, right? We have a web design, we have a pay-per-click, we have an SEO, we have a content. So, you know, Nick really breaks this down and talks about how all of these pieces work together and, you know, how we, you know, how they go from becoming a client to then the production and all that stuff. And you can see inside here, right? Here's the org chart. Now here's the outline. This talks about everyone's position and what they do, right? What their responsibilities are, who the current person is that does that in our team, right? And then, oops, why did it do that? So annoying. And then in here, you know, it shows you how to do this for yourself, right? How to use this, how to copy this and do it for yourself. So this is just one of the assets that comes in here, right? And then if you go to something like, because I saw somebody was asking in the Facebook group the other day, they were like, is there any training on SEO? So let's just talk about SEO. Let's go to SEO fundamentals, okay? So Nick does a whole video on SEO fundamentals. Here's a blog article on the 5 basic components of an SEO strategy. And then we have how to read search engine results, right? So Nick covers all of that stuff, right? All the basics, the fundamentals, right?
Yep.
The same thing with pay-per-click. And then also too, like when you come back up here, and you go, okay, well, let's look at our agency toolbox, right? So here's all the tools that we use in the agency, right? Wow. And Nick talks about all these tools, how we use them, what they're for, why we use them, why did we pick this tool over all the other possibilities, right? I know a lot of people get bogged down in just trying to figure out what do I need, right?
Sure.
Like, there's so many options, right? So what do you need? Well, we do a lot of in-depth testing and looking and researching and all that. And so, you know, we picked all these tools for a reason, and Nick talks about that and goes over them and all that stuff. So, I mean, this is what I would consider higher level training, but this is also training that is really important if you're new. Like if
it's
you
aspirational.
What's that?
It's aspirational. I want to grow an agency. What do I need to know so I know the building blocks that I need to start building on? I think it's great.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the biggest part, right? Is like if you're new and you don't have any clients and you're trying to figure out, well, what am I trying to do here? Like this will just show you what you're trying to do, right? And then in the final section, in the additional training and wrap up, so every year we do a kickoff call with all the team members at the agency, and so this is the recording of that call. So you'll see how Nick handles that, what we're focusing on at the agency, how we're setting goals, all that stuff. We have a training on time management while you work remotely. We talk about like how to identify red flags for clients. You know, this is a big thing, right? Like when clients are unhappy, they leave. We want to be very proactive in keeping clients. That's why we have a 98% retention rate at the agency. One of the reasons that is
Huge.
because we specifically train our people to know what the red flags are. So, because if they don't know what the red flags are, how do they know to tell us? How do we know that the client is, that there's an issue? So this shows how we know what the red flags are. And then there's a wrapping things up. So again, while this is what I would consider a higher level training, and we're going to have more of these coming out over the next few months. Of all the ones we're doing, I think this is the one of the most applicable to people that are new and just trying to get an agency, because you can get in here and just see how the whole thing works and understand the process and have a good idea of what the fundamentals are and all that stuff just by going through this course. And then that will give you clarity on the things you need to do and where you need to be focusing and the items you need to be working on or all that stuff. And here's the thing about this is we are going to be having a section on our website that's going to be these more advanced trainings. The trainings are not going to be cheap. They're going to be a couple of $100 because they're more advanced training. They come with a lot of proprietary assets and things that we use in the agency. But we wanted to kind of kick this off by doing something special for the first one. So join our agency. You can get it right now. I think it's $97. When we put this section up on the website of all these trainings, it's going to be $200. And we're not going to discount it again. Like that's
Right.
just going to be the price of these because the stuff in them is super, super valuable. So now is your chance to grab this at about a 50% discount and get this. So if you want to check it out, I'm going to put the link at the bottom and then we'll take some questions. And Nick, we can, maybe you can share some insights on your thoughts on all the pieces and how they fit together and all that stuff. So if you go to offlinesharks.com/join our agency, you can go there and see the page and all that stuff.
I think it's mission critical because, not only is it difficult to get clients, but it's really difficult to get good staff, right? And, hiring people and onboarding people and just sharing them, this is who we are, this is our mission, and this is everything that we're doing, and this is where you fit in, but also giving them the global look of what the agency does, I think is just critical because everybody in the agency, pushing the rock up the hill is going to get them that much further up the hill and that much higher up the hill. And plus, we always say, everybody in the company is a salesperson for the company. And this teaches them everything that they need to know about the agency and all the different services. So even if they're not, if they're local, they have the ability to kind of drum up localized business. But what a great training and what a great place to start. I wish I had this. 2006, I started my agency, not knowing enough to know that I needed something like this. Right. And by 2006, in 3 days, I knew I needed something like this.
Yeah.
Oh my gracious. Yeah. What did I just get myself into? I was really good at selling the projects, but now I got to fulfill all these projects. And what does that look like? And so, I went out and spent money on coaches and, other people and talked to other agency owners, but this would have just catapulted me that much further, that much faster.
Yeah, it's so funny you say that because that's exactly me, right? Like I'm the salesperson in the organization. So I'm out there getting clients right and left. And then I'm going, oh my God, what am I going to do now? Right.
Yeah,
and,
right.
And it's, that brings up a great point about this training as well, because you maybe you're looking at this and you're going, yeah, Tom, but I don't have any team members. I'm not planning on bringing any team members on soon. Like, how will this help me? And I think what Nick said there is super important. This whole process came about from all the mistakes we made, right? Sure. And the reason we made those mistakes is because we didn't know where we were going, right? Like we were just flying by the seat of our pants. And
as entrepreneurs do every day.
Yes.
Right?
Okay. Yep. And so we made a lot of mistakes along the way where looking back, we're like, oh man, if we knew where we were going, like if we knew this was the end result, then we could have made so many better decisions early on, right? But you can't do that until you've got the thing, right? Like as you're figuring it out, once you have the thing, then you can look back and go, oh, okay, yeah, if we need to do this again, we just do this and we just do that. And I think that's one of the reasons why you see people that are successful that get destroyed. They get wiped out. And then in a very short amount of time, they're back to their previous level, or they're doing even better. And I think that's why, because now like, you're like, oh, well, yeah, we don't have to waste our time going down this road. We don't have to waste our time going down that road. Like, we just know what the things are. And so this course really will give you that. It'll give you that view of the agency and where you need to go. So even though you're not, bringing team members on and doing all this stuff right now, just knowing that, like, okay, this is where we're going and what we're doing will help you make better decisions along the way.
I think there's a couple critical things too. Even if you're just starting out, this is important for that one segment alone of how to know if clients aren't happy. Because you only have 2 clients, you lose one, you've now lost 50% of your business and 50% of your revenue that's covering the household bills. That alone, I mean, to me, $97 is a walk in the park for just being able to kind of know if a client starts asking the questions that they may not be happy, and how to solve that. I think the other thing that this is really, really good for, even if you're just starting out, Tom, is to provide a high-level overview to your significant other in the house of what you're trying to build and what you're doing, right? Because they may not even know what an agency does. They may not even know all the components of an agency. So this could help them, you kind of communicate to your loved one or the partner in the household of exactly what you're doing.
Like, this is where we're going. Yeah, or if you have a family member that you want to help you in the business, which a lot of people do. Like,
I think a lot of our members have that, where they're like, you know what, I want to bring my son into the business. I want to bring my daughter in. I mean, I talk a lot of them on the front end, and that's their goal. They want to bring their son or daughter into it, which I think is noble, very, very noble. But this gives them an overview of what they want to do and what they want to achieve. And it just really focuses on that.
Yeah. So I saw Marcus kind of clarified his question. He said, so if I have a client that wants SEO and I don't do SEO, where do I go? This is an example. So Marcus, we have a lot of training on this in various places. As you know, we prefer to build out our own internal teams or find people that can do that stuff for us. So I don't know if you, we just did a course a few months ago where we talked about a site called Legit. Legit is a site where you can go and find a lot of different people that do various marketing services. You can also go to a place called onlinejobs.ph. You can find people on there. We have a lot of, maybe just search in the group about hiring, or you'll probably find a lot of stuff in there where we talk about that. We talk about, what to make the job posts, all that stuff. You can also just ask in the Facebook group, like, hey, where do you guys find the best SEO people? You know what I mean? Now you want to be kind of careful there, because we don't like allow promotions and people to like hunt for jobs and things like that. So like, if you ask that question, it's really just to, find things like Legit, onlinejobs.ph, those kinds of places. So we do have additional training. So this course will kind of like help you see some of this, Marcus, but it's not like here's where you go to find an SEO person, right? Like, we have other trainings that kind of talk about that. Let me see. Richie says he's
got the dreaded foursome going there, right? With beer, wine, bubblies, and dyslexia. So
Upwork, Jeff, is another great place. We find a lot of great team members from Upwork as well. Yeah. Yep. You're welcome, Marcus. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, it's this is kind of what I was talking about in the beginning, right? Like, it's so important. Like, even when let's say you have a client and you don't do SEO, it's still really important that you understand the SEO fundamentals, because how do you know the person you're going to hire? How do you even know that they're good? Right? Like, how do you know what they're going to do is going to work? Like, so I think that's where this course comes into play, because going through the SEO fundamentals portion of this course, you would then be able to know, like, is this person being on the up and up or not on the up and up, right? Is what they're saying reality, or is it just BS that they're trying to get me to hire them? So you can do that as well. So again, you can go to offlinesharks.com/join our agency and jump in on that. If you guys have any questions, then yeah, this has been stuff.
I mean, the ability to really bring cutting edge courses to people, to our community is always impressive of what you, Nick, Tom, and the team do.
Well, I don't know anybody else that has this, right? Like, because they're not doing this. Like, to have this, you actually have to be doing it, right? Like, this isn't a course that we created for you guys. Like, this isn't something that we were like, oh, this would be a great thing to do to release as a course. This is something we created because our business needed it. And for the business to function correctly and operate in the manner that we're building it, we needed an orientation training system. Now, this also can be a great model for you to do for your agency. So if you're on this call right now and you have an established agency and you have a team of people, like, you need this even more than the beginning person, because I guarantee you are going to get a ton of ideas and be like, oh shoot, I need to be doing that. I need to be doing that. And you'll actually be able to model this and create one of your own for your own team and your own agency, right? You'll just see, like, okay, these are the videos I need. This is what I want to shoot, all that kind of stuff. So, well, I think this is one of the more, like I said earlier, one of the more relevant to people that if you don't have any clients, it's especially relevant to you if you do, if you're struggling, if you're doing all the work yourself. Like, this will show you how we broke free of that, right? How we got out of that. So an awesome training all around.
Yeah. Good question by Richie. Richie's got a really good question. Maybe we could put it up on the screen. It's, there you go. Is this a roadmap of how to build the internal structure of your agency team?
Yes. We walked through that on the org chart breakdown, right? You'll see the structure of the agency, how it works and how all the pieces work together.
And then it also shows how, for those that came on late, it also shows how, each person, what they do. I liked how you had the KPIs, right? So how to hold people accountable, what to look for. So as you're building your team, it's all there. So for the people that joined us late, when we went over this in the beginning, this is crucial. Yeah.
And then let me see if I can find it. I'm sorry. I feel like there's something in between my teeth and it's driving me crazy.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
You're probably like, what is Tom doing?
Yeah, he's a little off today. So
yeah, it's driving me nuts. I can feel it, and like I can't get rid of it. It's so crazy. Anyway, but yes, this will break all of that stuff down for you, right, and show you all that. I'm trying to see if I can find another thing in here that would be like, you'll be like, oh, okay. I see what you're talking about. Here's one. Here, look, let me just show you guys this. So, and you guys can screenshot this if you want. I mean, if you really want it, just go pick up the course, but you can screenshot this if you want. But like, see, look, these are the vocabulary words we use in the agency, right? ROI, retention, churn, PPC, call to action, backlink. Like all of this stuff, it's really important that every person on the team understands these words, what they mean, and how it all works together, right? So this is just an example of part of the vocabulary part. I saw another question came in. Matthew says, is all your staff full on W-2 employees, contract 1099 work, or a combination of both, i.e. in-house or outsourced? Matthew, that is a great question. At the agency, we have a lot of W-2 employees at the agency. Our sales rep is we also have a lot of people that are actually in the state of Hawaii, right? Like our sales rep is in the state of Hawaii. Our operations manager lives in the state of Hawaii. There's several other people on the team that are all located in Hawaii as well. They don't all live on Maui, but they're all in the state of Hawaii. We do have overseas team members as well. And some of them are 1099. So I think this is a great question because this has really been kind of an evolution for the agency. When we originally were building the agency and growing, we had no W-2 employees. Like we only used 1099 contractors. But as the agency got stability and we got more clients, we needed here's the thing that a lot of people don't talk about with the with like the 1099 employees versus the W-2. We needed more structured hours. Like we like when we hire a sales rep that's in Hawaii, we need to be able to have hours that are expected to work, things that are expected to be done. And if you're in the United States and you're hiring someone in the United States, there are laws that dictate whether they can be 1099 or a W-2 employee. And when we're hiring somebody in state, we're going to give them a schedule. We're going to tell them they need to be working at these times. These are the things they need to be doing. So we want to be legal when we do all that stuff.
Sure.
So we have W-2 employees in the agency. We didn't start out that way. For originally when we started just by hiring people to do fulfillment, and we were still doing all the marketing and sales. And so in that process, the person could just work their own hours, and most of them were overseas anyway. So, that stuff didn't apply. So those people we just had as 1099. But as we get more work and we need more things, it's, we want to just bring people on and have them full house. So today it's more W-2, less 1099. In the beginning, it was more 1099, no W-2s, right? Like we wanted it. We reached a point at the agency where that structure of just having outsourced people it wasn't good for the agency. Now at Offline Sharks, everybody is 1099 remote, right? So, but a little different kind of business, right? So not quite as client intensive.
And more flexible and, demands and the hours and all that. So,
yeah. Awesome stuff today, Nick. So we got a couple things we need to do before we go. So first, go to offlinesharks.com/join our agency, grab this training now. Again, there's a very small window here. This is going to close in a day or two. And the next time you see this course, it is going to be $200. It will never be $97 again. So go to the link, grab this, pick it up. You're going to love it. If you have any questions about it, feel free to reach out to us. Also, we love to give away some cash money on the live show. So I have set up a hashtag. So if you guys go and if you put in, here, let me insert this, hashtag join our agency. Here it is. Hashtag join our agency. Then I'm going to do a drawing here in a couple minutes, and we're going to give away 2 $25 Cash App prizes. No entries yet. So in the comments, type in hashtag join our agency. Oh, all right. I see people coming in. All right. While you're doing that, I'm going to play this.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar. Cheating, bling, bling, cut the chatter. You ain't talking money, then you're talking no matter.
No matter, right?
No matter.
Okay. Type in hashtag join our agency. We're going to give away 2 $25 gift cards. Oh, look at all those join our agencies coming in. That's great. Everybody's coming in. Okay. All right, here we go. The first winner. I love these graphics.
That's cool.
I love StreamYard did this. This is a pretty awesome little tool.
Yeah.
Winner number 1 is Nye PD. Congratulations.
That's awesome.
The
I
team
notice on this, Richie can spell correctly.
yeah. Yep. Okay. The team's going to reach out to you, or if you want to just drop your Cash App hashtag in the group or your PayPal, the team will get you your cash money. Congratulations. And we are going to do one more drawing. This is your last chance. Put in hashtag join our agency. I'm going to play the money song one more time just because I feel like it.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar. Ching, ching, bling, bling, chatter. You ain't talking money, then you're talking no matter.
All right, we're going to draw again. The next winner of $25 in cold, hard Cash App funds. The suspense. Bob.
All right, Bob. That's awesome.
Congratulations, Bob. All right, the team is going to be reaching out to you guys. Nick, thanks so much for coming on this live.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. You have a great weekend. Enjoy your 90+ weather.
Yes, it is getting a little on the warmer side.
Enjoy the Mandalay Bay.
Yeah, awesome. Well, look, thanks again. I'm not going to be here next week. You're going to have some surprise hosts next Friday because my mom is coming into town Sunday. She's going to be here for a little bit. But I will see you back here the week after that. Same shark time, same shark channel. Stay safe out there. Practice aloha. And if you have any questions or anything, post them in the Facebook group. We'll see y'all later.
You've been watching the Aloha Marketing Jam session. We've helped thousands just like you start and scale their businesses. If you'd like our help to grow your business, go to the link on your screen now and let us know how we can help you. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this stream. We'll be back here next Friday for another live show. Until then,